and a one, and a two, and I know what to do. What is up, guys? Welcome back to Awesome Kids TV. Welcome back to another Buildcraft video of Strange New Worlds Expansions. Yeah, that's correct. We're back for more Strange New Worlds expansions, and today we are expanding this grotto over here by making, you guessed it, the coolest looking laboratory we had ever made. But in order to make this laboratory really shine, we are going to have to like figure out how big we should make this and how many inventions we can possibly fit in there. Because I am making this a full-on laboratory with full-on crazy and weird looking inventions. Kind of like those mad scientist movies where the mad scientist creates a monster, electrocutes it to life, and yells, "It's alive! Alive!" Hold on, guys. Hold on, there's a Enderman. There's an Enderman in the world. He teleported away. He stole a grass block from one of our builds. Anyway, we don't have time to worry about that. We only have time to worry about how the lab is gonna look, how it's going to be designed, and how every single invention in there is possibly going to look as well. We're going to see how many inventions we can possibly fit inside of the whole entire lab. And once we get the lab assembled, we're going to assemble the most important part of the laboratory. Alright, let's assemble this pathway, this sidewalk. Let's do this. And we are, of course, putting random spots of chiseled stone bricks into the sidewalk so that it looks nice, but not only that, but I want it to look nice as well. I want it to look and sound nice, so we are going to make it look like this. Yeah, this is our stone walkway to the. This is our stone walkway or stone sidewalk to the laboratory we are going to be making. There you go. The sidewalk is now done, and look at that. Okay, now we need to put in a couple of trees. So this is where the saplings come in. That actually looks pretty nice. Now all we need to do is grow them with some bone meal. Luckily we have bone meal, so I'll grow these trees. It's only a couple oak trees. Now we need to build the lab itself. So, yeah, we shall get started building the lab itself. The lab itself is composed of different material. The whole entire lab is composed of iron and quartz like the previous one, but this one's going to be a lot different. Anyway, as always, we start with the main entrance area, the main entry to the lab. This is where we would add two doors, but we're not going to add them right now because we need to build the rest of the lab. So we shall get to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7 blocks outward for the entrance. And then we build out like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There you go. 7 by 7 for the main entrance. That's how big we really want this to be, so that's why I decided to make it this big. Speaking of big, if you guys love really big story arcs, then oh boy, you are going to love the Awensa Wrong Number story. We don't have much time to talk about it though. Anyway, we now build out like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There you go. 8 blocks out to those trees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we add up like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. That's about 20 blocks. Now we build out like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. There you go, 20 blocks outward. Now 20 blocks outward over in this direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Now we build inward like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20, 21. 20 by 21 by 20 by 7. That is how big we are making this thing. And speaking of big, if you don't know, James grew up in a generation where smartphones were a new thing and everyone else had one except for him. Now, his parents never got him a cell phone because they didn't want him to access the internet on a device that could fit in his pocket. Because at the time they were super strict and didn't want him looking at weird internet stuff, which backfired horribly, by the way. So they never gave him a smartphone. And he didn't get his first one until he was 16 years old and completed his first sophomore year of high school. Now that he's an adult that uses one every day, he is not really sure how he would survive for 16 years without one. Because whenever he gets into a dangerous situation where he needed to call his parents, he would ask the nearest person if he could borrow his phone. If he could borrow their phone. And if there's an emergency and you need to call you or the police, the downside of giving your child a phone is they'll end up spending too much time on it, so maybe you should turn off their services from time to time. I don't know. Now, one of these stories takes place at Suaboy. That's right, another Suaboy story. Hashtag Suaboy4. This story wasn't even good enough to be in the other 3. So it was 5 minutes until closing, and James got a call on the Suaboy phone. And he picked it up and was like, thank you for calling Suaboy, how may I help you? He was supposed to say, this is James, how may I help you? But he wasn't about to tell this random stranger his name, idiot. Anyway, the guy on the line said, hey, what time do you guys close? And James was like, in 5 minutes. Is it alright if I show up late? I just need gas. And he was totally willing to make that guy sandwich over the phone, let him pick it up after they closed, and he wouldn't bring him up and just pocket the money. He was kidding at the time. That's a crime. Please don't sue me. He would never do that. And the conversation just goes on and on. until he was all like, thank you for calling Subway. And I think he thought he was talking to a gas station at the time. So he was all like, sir, this is a Subway? And then he was all like, oh. It just hangs up on the guy. He just hangs up on the guy. and this and gas pumps don't close. They literally don't close. Anyway, this next story takes place back at his home, and he got a phone call from a phone number he did not recognize. Now, he had friends tell him that they don't answer the phone to a number they don't recognize. But his anxieties won't let him do that. His anxieties won't freaking let him do that. And his mind was all like, but what if it's your bank calling saying your account got hacked? What if it's your grandma, because why would you have her saving your phone? Or what if it's your Nigerian uncle who wants to give you his collection of gold bars and needs your information for a wire transfer? You may never know. So he answered it, and it was this person asking for a Lawrence. It was this woman asking for a Lawrence figure. And James naturally was all like, oh, I'm not, you have the wrong number. And she goes, isn't this 416295? That is obviously not a real frickin' number, so don't you frickin' dare call it. And he said, no, this is 416293, because that's my phone number. Again, that's not actually a valid phone number, so whatever you do, please don't freaking call it. 3? I don't think I pushed 3, but she did, obviously. James had no idea what to say about all that. He had no idea what the frick to flip and say about all this, because his number is 416293. Truth, it's really not. But she did think she pushed number 3, and so he has no idea how the frick she is talking to him right now. Unless she freaking did, and so he was flipping like, well, obviously you did. And then he wrote a comic about the whole thing because he thought the internet would think it was funny. Anyway, this next story takes place at home, again, at his home. And he got a call from a number he didn't recognize at 9:30 in the morning. And he was lying in his bed asleep. And most people would obviously agree that you're supposed to be awake and productive at 9:30 in the morning, which is something I would rather do. I wouldn't want to be lazy and unproductive at 9:30 in the morning. Because, damn, who wouldn't want to be productive and awake at 9:30? Anyway, and obviously he didn't want this stranger to think he was lazy, and so he answered the phone with his best, I've been awake for several hours voice. So he prepares and was all like, hello? And then Irish sounding voice responded back, a Rolf, and then a Ed and Eddie Rolf sounding voice responded with, you're going to have to come quickly. Timmy fell down the well, Vance. And he was all like, what? And the woman responded back with, I said, you're going to have to come quickly because Timmy fell down the well, Vance. Now at the time he could tell it was a freaking woman on the phone, but it was either her flippin' accent or the phone being buggy or that he had just woken up, but he could not understand anything she was saying, and he could only make one word, which was Vance. So, he did not have a lot of time to pick off of. He did not have a lot to pick off of. And so he said, I think you have the wrong number. And then the woman goes, and then James was all like, okay, talk to you later. Now you gotta come quickly because Timmy fell down the... And then he just hangs up. And then the woman called him again, and he was all like, okay, maybe this person is calling again, even though I explicitly told her she had the wrong number. Maybe it's not a wrong number after all. Maybe there's something else going on. Maybe it's an emergency, so maybe, talk to me. Vance. And then he was all like, okay, I cannot understand anything you're saying. And then this woman passed her phone to her friend, and a different voice started talking, and James can actually understand her, and he'll never forget what she said to him, which was, Vance, no one thinks that you're funny. And even though he was not Vance, that kind of hurt him. And so he stated the obvious, which was, yes, I am, and I'm also not Vance. And she goes, no, Lance. So this whole time, those two have been looking for a Lance. And he told this woman, I'm not Lance either. And she goes, well, this is the number they gave me. Alright, if she had said it politely, I'm sorry. This is the number they gave me. I didn't mean to call you, stranger. Also, I do think you're funny and enjoy your videos. Then that would have been totally fine. She was just shipping the blame to somebody else. But then she hung up on him. Like this woman just basically called a random number and said, you're not funny, and then hung up. And so James decided to call her back and say, hey, I just found the real Lance. He's the funniest guy you ever met. And he told me he doesn't give his phone number out to real pieces of S. Just kidding on the last part. James thought about doing that, but he went back to sleep. He didn't obviously do it. And then somebody on the internet found his phone number and he flippin' changed it. And whoever has this old frickin' number is probably getting a lot of calls from strangers and people he went to high school with. Sorry about that, all and South viewers out there. Anyway, I decided to give this whole entire laboratory a Five Nights at Freddy's feel, a Five Nights at Freddy's type feel, mixed with Frankenstein with the giant glass windows on the side and everything, and the flickering lights. We'll activate the flickering lights and see if they flicker, as well as actual lights that flicker, later. But for now, we need to go ahead and, add in the doors and stuff. Let me go and get the doors. There you go, iron doors. Put those iron babies on there. And then do that, put the pressure plate on. I'm gonna go for the iron one, the heavy iron one, because it looks very laboratory-like. Now I put the same exact door on, here. That looks pretty good. Ah, test subject. I knew you were coming. I was going to predict you were coming. Anyway, let's begin our invention assortment with a personality switching ray. That's right, a personality swapping machine. Basically, what this machine allows you to do is switch the personality of whoever you hit it with. That is the name personality swapper. Or the personality swapper, or TPS. The personality swapper. Basically, you swap out personalities by putting in a sample of a specific type of person, or pony in this case, because My Little Pony G5. Anyway, and the electrical tubes on the side, which are redstone lamps, transmit the information of that person or pony all the way to the other side. Pretty simple stuff to follow, eh? Well, it gets even more simple. If it was too complex, if the information about it was too complex, then I do apologize. Anyway, we shall activate those flickering lights now. So let's go and activate it. It'll look amazing if we put it in the entrance area. But we're not gonna do that too early. Alright, here we go. Okay, that didn't work. That was a total fail in redstone in terms of how it failed. Okay, we're not gonna do flickering lights that way. Okay, we need to go back to the drawing board on the flickering lights there. They should have flickered like I wanted them to when... Okay, let's try this again. Repeater, 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 and then a compressor for ticks. Same on this side. Repeater, 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 compressor for ticks. No subtract mode. And then we connect them with the redstone. Hopefully this works. Now all we gotta do is like separate the two circuits. So we're gonna separate the two circuits. Okay, let's give these two circuits a whirl. 3, 2, 1, go! Yeah! Some of the lights are flickering. That'll look awesome once we run out of night vision. I think that'll look really cool. Like some sort of Halloween thing. We'll add some lighting over here that you can turn on and off. We're gonna have them be turned on for a while. We'll add some lighting over in this direction, right about there. Free lights over there. Oh, that looks sick. The flashing lights look sick. Now we shall move on to a monster maker. The monster maker basically is a sort of like AI. Not really. So, yeah. All you have to do to make your own monster, your own hybrid monster, is insert some DNA essence, some DNA, if you will, into the machine. Oh, that looks cool without the night vision on. Anyway, you insert DNA of whatever creature you can find into one of the chambers, and it fuses, and then you put another piece of DNA in there, and it will basically create a monster from the 2 or more DNA samples that you have chosen. So yeah, that is a pretty creepfully fun and awesome concept for a mad scientist style invention. Now we put the redstone repeater right there. There we go. Now we put the redstone down. Hopefully this will work. There we go. That works perfectly. Now we add the door we need. There you go. Iron. Now we are done with this. Wait a minute, there's one more invention we need to make before we say peace out, and that is, of course, the simulator machine. The simulator machine basically allows you to simulate any environment in a screen building way. That is it for the mini assortment of inventions in the laboratory. That is it for that lab extension. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to stay tuned for more awesome pieces of content. Don't forget to stay tuned for a 200 subscriber celebration. And have a great day. Peace!